Hello and welcome to the Konvergent video series for the week of August 10th. Top three things we're going to cover on the video today. First, the markets were up pretty steadily last week on better than expected jobs data. On that unemployment number for number two, we're going to discuss the regular weekly numbers as well as the monthly jobs report. That came in slightly better than expected. And finally, we're going to touch on the stimulus package and the debates going on in Congress while President Trump signed some executive orders while we're waiting on a final total bill. So before I jump into the numbers for the week, I hope you all had a great weekend. We had another fun weekend on the property, spending a lot of time picking blackberries. We've had about 4 straight weeks of a massive haul of blackberries. I've got to enjoy a lot of different things, including some blackberry pound cake, and especially this last week, some awesome blackberry cobbler made by my favorite personal chef and awesome wife, Val. So I'm hoping you're all enjoying a lot of the things that are coming from this great Pacific Northwest weather we are seeing or wherever you are at. So with that, on to the data for the week. First, the markets, the S&P was up just over 2.5% on the week, climbing pretty steadily throughout the week and really shooting up a little bit at the end of the week on some better than expected jobs numbers that we'll talk about, even in spite of kind of waiting on a no deal from Congress related to the stimulus package. On those unemployment numbers, we'll start with the weekly numbers first. New claims for unemployment came in around 1.2 million. Which was slightly lower than the last couple of weeks that we've seen, but still we're now at 20 straight weeks of over 1 million new claims for unemployment. On the continuing claims number, we also saw a drop there, coming down to about 16 million, so some positive trends in the new claims and continuing claims that we hope to see kind of continue out here into the future. However, on total unemployment, we actually saw that rise to over 31 million, which was expected. If on the last couple of videos, we talked about how that's on a 2-week delay from the new claims, and we expected to see a rise in that number a couple of weeks later, and we saw that. So on the same front of that, we'll expect to see that number come down a bit. But really overall, it's decently positive news from the unemployment front, although we're still at very historically high numbers overall, so a lot to come. So on the big highlights from the week, the big headlines were around the monthly jobs report from July, and we actually saw a rise of 1.7 million in new jobs created for the month, which was higher than the 1.4 million expected. So that's now 3 straight months of unemployment gains or employment gains. However, we're still very far below where we were before the virus struck. So while these are positive trends, we're still at over a 10% unemployment rate. So still a lot of work to do there. And so, some areas where we have some level of concern still around this is if we look at a survey from those that are what they're expecting in terms of the near future with income. This survey based on July 21st numbers is actually showing a pretty steady rise in those that are expecting some form of loss of job income sometime in the next 4 weeks. So we saw it kind of bottom out in June as the economy was seemingly opening back up, but we're starting to see that number steadily rise again. So still some reason for caution on where some of these unemployment numbers might be headed in the near future. So on to the stimulus package. We were expecting all week to some sort of deal to come together. However, all the headlines from the week were really about how far away the two sides were in putting a package together. So over the weekend, President Trump signed 2 different executive orders. The first extending out those weekly unemployment benefits by $400 a week, which is lower than the $600 a week they were previously. And he also has delayed payroll taxes on those making less than $100,000 until the end of the year. So it really puts Congress in a challenging position. While many are questioning the constitutionality of these executive orders, it's putting Congress in a tough position to argue against putting dollars directly into the hands of those that need it the most. I guess from a big picture perspective, the concern from my end is again related to the constitutionality of this. If the executive branch can simply, with the stroke of a pen, lower taxes, that probably implies that they could also raise them, whether it's for 4 weeks, 4 months, or potentially indefinitely. And so really that is in the role of Congress to be enacting tax legislation. So hopefully this does put some pressure on Congress to come together on an agreement for those that need it the most. So it's something that we're going to be keeping a close eye on. So bottom line for the week, we're still in wait and see mood on this stimulus package and what's going to come together overall. But we are seeing some positive signs of economic activity out there. But still lots of caution ahead. But with those positive signs, I guess the big question is, are we going to begin seeing the V-shaped recovery in the economy to match the V-shaped recovery we've seen in the markets? And I guess a bigger question is, does that really even matter? With the hope of a vaccine out there that might be the real catalyst for the growth to have the economy catch up with the market, or whether people just have a belief that between the government and the Fed, there's just going to be plenty of money spread around to kind of keep things going. we may not need to see the economy recover for the market to continue to go up. So with that, we've added some things to the portfolios recently to account for that. We've added some additional precious metals exposure, we've added some additional tech exposure, and some very selective emerging markets exposures. Even though we believe we should still be cautious, we also know that there is going to be areas of opportunity that we should be taking advantage of. So we have made some minor adjustments in our portfolios to account for that. So as always, if you have questions on your individual portfolio, feel free to reach out and set up an individual consultation. And with that, we hope you have a great week, and we look forward to talking to you soon.